Hi, welcome to our first episode of Coffee with Carly. I'm so happy to be here with Jen Dugosh, who is Director of Marketing Operations at Neustar. Welcome, Jen.
Hi, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. How about we start off, just give everybody a little introduction about who you are and what you do at Neustar.
Sure. Jen Dugosh, I head up our marketing operations department at Neustar. So we're primarily responsible for managing our marketing technology stack, our automation platform, and also all of our marketing reporting and analytics.
Excellent. The topic for today is to talk about the corona-induced virtual work environment and what it means moving forward. And we thought that you
Okay.
guys at Neustar have a pretty good perspective and a little bit of variance in your previous experience. Before we get to that, though, I asked you to bring your favorite coffee mug, so I was wondering if you could share that with us and why you chose it.
Yes, it's right here. It's
Nice.
it's a coffee mug that I got at the Guinness factory in Dublin. I never use it because it's really small, so it doesn't really take a regular coffee size. And also, I'm just terrified of it breaking. We have two crazy labs, so they're always at my feet. But it's really special to me because I took a trip 5 or 6 years ago with my parents, I love my parents, super close to them. They're super fun time. And we went to Munich for Oktoberfest. And at the tail end, we decided to go to Dublin for a couple of nights. And I was most excited about Germany, but I was most pleasantly surprised by Dublin. It's such a fun city. And we took a tour of the Guinness factory. And at the end of the tour, we had a fresh Guinness poured for us and we could see the whole city. And it was just a really special trip for me. So that's why that is my favorite mug.
I love that. That's awesome. I'm going to have to check out the
Yeah.
Guinness factory at some point.
Yeah, I definitely bucket list item that and also Oktoberfest, so worth it. It's canceled this year, but it was a really fun time.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
So prior to COVID-19, would you say that Neustar was an in the office kind of culture or very virtually friendly?
Certainly the former. We had a pretty strict mentality around, we're better together and we have a more collaborative environment when we're all together. So we actually even had some guidelines and an actual policy about remote work. So yeah, I would say we're more the former than the latter. We are certainly an in-office culture.
What would you say has been the biggest learning for the entire team during the virtual work environment?
Yeah. A couple of things. I think the biggest one, the most obvious one is that is kind of debunked, right? It's absolutely not true that working remote equals you cannot be productive. We've moved forward. We've prospered. We've had to deal with the coronavirus. We want to make sure everyone's safe. So we're obviously all working remote and we've been working remote for several months and we're still getting things done. We're still hitting our goals. We're still able to get through this. So I think before when we thought maybe, hey, it's impossible, we need to all be in the office. It's better for everyone. We can't get as much done. I think that's the biggest thing that we've learned as an organization, that there are certainly some good things to come out of working remote. I think the second thing we've learned is just to be more patient and more flexible with each other. People aren't working a standard 9 to 5 or standard working hours like they used to. I think something unique about COVID is you're not just working remote, but if you have children or if you're caring for your parents, you don't have the support on the side with daycares and things like that. So you have to be more flexible with people around setting meetings, their working times. Maybe they have something worked out with their partners where, they take the kids in the morning or the afternoon. And so I think that we've just learned to be more patient and just flexible in general.
How do you see Neustar adjusting back to kind of going back into the office life? And actually, are they talking at all about starting to look at going back into the office?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had, pretty clear and frequent communication throughout the process from the executive team. So we've certainly been talking about it a lot. Nothing is set in stone. Our day back in the office has moved several times because we, obviously want to make sure we have masks and equipment and, that everyone's coming in and that it's very safe for everyone to come back in. So it'll certainly get moved again, I'm sure. We've talked about lots of different things, making sure that, like I said, we had enough equipment and that we could supply it for X amount of days. We've talked about doing some people in some days and some people in the other days, maybe like a color-coded system or something like that. We've talked about self-reporting temperatures and things like that. So no set in stone, but certainly lots of discussion about making sure that, when we do decide to come back in, that it'll be done very safely.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. When you do end up sort of back into your, whatever the new normal looks like for Neustar in terms of going back into the office, do you see any of the things you guys have learned as a team from working remotely? Do you see them being tied back in and maybe you won't let go of the full sort of in the office mentality?
Yeah, I think certainly, Neustar and a lot of companies have really learned to this has been like a debunk to the stigma that you cannot be productive. If you're working remotely and your team is remote, then you cannot be a productive team. So I certainly hope, what would be best for me and my team, and even just as we collaborate cross-functionally, some type of hybrid I think would be nice. Maybe it's dedicated days in, maybe it's, planning the next week out, the week prior, and kind of understanding, hey, what meetings do we need to do in person, and can we get all of those on one day type of thing. I think a hybrid situation will likely be the case in the future.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, just imagine, even 1 or 2 days of not having to do your commute actually gives you that much more time from their eyes to get work done too, let alone actually spend time with the family and friends.
Absolutely.
So you had some exciting life events here happening. So do you have any news you want to share?
Yes, I recently got engaged.
Yay! Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
I'll
Very
ask
exciting
a
stuff.
few questions about that. Just sort of the quick question, quick answer. Do you have a date yet?
Cool. I do. We're hoping for the end of the year, December, early December.
Nice. That's exciting. And what city will you get married in?
Leesburg, Virginia.
That's a great place.
It is a great place.
Where will the honeymoon be?
I was just asking my fiance about that a couple of nights ago, and I think we're kind of landing on one thing at a time. We're kind of cramming a wedding into a short period, so we'll kind of handle that later. But it won't be at the beach. We'll definitely do something more mountainous or a lake or something like that. So that's where we are, but we don't know yet. I'll stay tuned.
Okay.
I'll keep you posted.
Awesome. That sounds fun. Veil or no veil?
Yeah, definitely veil.
Oh. And
very traditional.
Will the dogs be in the wedding?
No chance. They are, I'm sure you've seen Marley. Marley and Me, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
My dog is that dog reincarnated. He cannot listen at all. They will be in the pictures. They will both, of course, be in the pictures. They'll be on site that day because they're such a huge part of our lives. But no, they do not have a role in the wedding.
Are they going to get dressed up for the pictures?
Maybe a boutonniere, maybe.
Oh, that would be so cute.
Maybe. As long as it's out of reach and they can't get to it.
Yeah.
Otherwise they will destroy it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. This has been great to catch up with you, and hopefully others find value in the perspective that you have from your experience and what Neustar is looking at doing. And thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's always good to catch up.
Awesome.